Hey guys, welcome back. So today I have a fun twist on giving money as a birthday gift with this birthday cake money pool box. But you're also going to be able to make this box without the money pool if you want to put gifts inside instead. And there are two different size templates that you're going to be able to choose from. And I'm also going to show you how you can resize those if needed. But if you go to the video description for this video, you are going to find a link to get the free templates from my blog at svgnation.com. And I'm also going to leave links to the supplies that I'm using in this video in case you want to check those out. So once you have that design uploaded to Cricut Design Space, it's going to look something like this. And this one right here is the small box template. So the only difference between the two templates is the larger one doesn't have the two lids because it doesn't have the option for the money pool because it's just a little too big for that. But it also has a score line right here on Happy Birthday for you to attach if you want to attach that or get rid of it. So the first thing that you want to do is if you want to resize this, it might be best to go ahead and do that while everything is attached. So with both of the templates, the large one and the small one, you are not going to be able to resize either one of them larger. So if you want a larger box, then you're going to want to use the larger template because it is sized at the largest that box can be sized without having to add on more paper. So you'll want to use that one and probably resize down from there if you want something that's bigger than the small box template, but not quite as big as that one. But if you want something even smaller than this money pool one, then you would want to use this one. And all you have to do is drag right here. You just have to drag, just make sure everything is being adjusted together so everything stays proportionate. And that's all you have to do to resize these. So it's super simple, but also keep in mind as you resize it, the height of the box is going to get smaller. So if you need to kind of measure, like if you want a certain height, just add a shape here and make it that height. And then you can just line it up with here to make sure it's going to be as high as you need it to be. Or again, you can measure it with the bottom to make sure it's going to fit in there. So really easy to resize so you can play around with them, but just remember that for both of the templates, you can only resize them smaller. Because if you resize them larger, these larger pieces right here are going to be too big to cut. All right, so I'm going to undo that because I want the actual size. And if you are doing the money pool option, you do not want to resize that because it's not going to work correctly. So make sure if you're doing the money pool option that you keep everything the same size that it came already. Okay, let's see. Let's make sure we have this. Okay. Let me just re-upload this real quick. I just wanted to make sure I had it the correct size. Let me find it right here. Just going to add that to our canvas, and now let's go back to our canvas. Okay, this way I make sure it's the correct size. All right, so once you have this, before you make any modifications, you first need to ungroup all of your layers. And so you're just going to hit this ungroup button right here. And so now we can go ahead and modify these. So if you have the larger box template, you're only going to have one circle. But for the smaller one, there are two, and you don't need both of those. So you do need to choose which one you're going to use and then delete the other. So since I'm going to do the money pool option, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. Okay, and so for all of these, you're going to see those lines. We need to change those to score lines. And if you guys aren't using a scoring tool or don't have one, then make sure to delete these layers with the lines on them instead. So all you're going to do is click on that line layer, and you're going to go to your operation and change that to score. And then click right above here where it was that group of them, because that's the layer you need to attach it to, and go ahead and attach those together. And right now this right here is actually your box lid. So we need to do that for both of the pieces. So let's just click here, and we're going to change that to score. Click on that group and attach those. And we're going to repeat those steps right here for the bottom. This part is our bottom box. We're just going to change that to score and attach it to the box. So there's 4 layers that you need to do this for. If you have the larger one, then there is going to be another line on the happy birthday that you need to change and attach to that white layer. Or you can get rid of it if you just want to fold it yourself. It really doesn't matter. And that's all we need to change. These pieces right here, these are kind of like your confetti, your sprinkles on top of the cake. So you can add more, you can change the colors. You don't even have to cut these. Maybe you're doing a glitter paper on top and you don't want them. They're completely optional, but just are a fun decorative piece. For this money pool box that I'm making right here, I am using all of these right here just to give you an idea of how much this makes. All right, so we're going to go to make it because we're ready to cut this. And we are just using our standard mat for this, so let's just confirm. So whenever you're using any tools like your scoring tool or pens or anything, you do want to check those layers and make sure that everything looks correctly. So you should see those score lines exactly where they are in Cricut Design Space. If you don't see them in the correct spot, then you need to go back and attach those to that layer. And that way you know everything is going to score correctly. If you don't see those there, it's not going to score where you want it to. Okay, but if everything looks good, then go ahead and put that scoring tool in your machine and go ahead and get everything cut out, and then I'll show you how to assemble it. So once everything is cut out, we're going to start by assembling the bottom part of the box. So take those two rectangle pieces and attach those together, lining it up with that score line on that side tab piece. Now you do not want to fold on this score line. It is just there for a guide so that you know where to connect these two pieces. If you do fold on it, it's going to create a really awkward shape for your box. And that same thing applies for the tab piece on the other end. So these are just guides. But you will fold on each of the tab pieces that are on the bottom part of the box once you have those two rectangle pieces attached. And you want to fold those in so that that tab piece that you glued together to hold those rectangles together is hidden on the inside of the box. Then grab those two bottom circle pieces. You're going to notice that one is just slightly larger than the other. So this one is the one that you want to use right now. So take that smaller one and put it aside. And you're going to glue each one of those tab pieces down and attach it to the top of this circle. And you're going to line them up with that edge to make a circle-shaped box. So I think it's easiest to just do 2 to 3 of these tab pieces at a time, because you are going to need to kind of hold them in place for a few seconds while they attach. Because when it's super wet with the glue, they're going to slide a little bit. So just continue to do this and make sure that you maneuver those so that they are around the edge of that circle piece. And you're going to do this until they're all glued down. And then you're going to close that box together by gluing that last tab piece to the inside of your box. And again, you do not want to fold on that score line. It's just there for a reference as to where to line it up. So now go ahead and grab that smaller circle piece and you're going to glue that to the inside of the box. And this is just there to cover up those tab pieces, but it's also going to give your box a sturdier base, so I don't recommend skipping this step. And then you're going to repeat these same steps for the lid, except you're not going to have the liner for the inside for this. So you're going to attach those two lid pieces together using that score line as a guide, and your lid pieces are the ones that look kind of like the frosting drips. And then you're going to repeat the steps so that you attach those tab pieces to the inside of the lid. Once it's assembled, then go ahead and add the confetti pieces if you're using them. And you can either take your time and glue them on one by one, but I think it's just easiest to use a glue stick. So if you're using a glue stick, make sure that it is one that's going to dry clear. And you're just going to spread some glue on a certain area and then sprinkle a few pieces of the confetti on all at once. And then just continue to do this until you use as much confetti as you want to use. And if you do this, it's normal for some of the pieces of confetti to fall off. So don't worry about that. You can add them back or just not use them. So now you're going to want to glue the happy and birthday to that base layer for this. And if you're not doing the money pull option, then you're going to fold that base layer to the back side and then glue that to the top of your box as a decoration. But if you're using the money pull option, then we're going to add this on in just a minute. So for the money pull, you're going to need to tape your bills together in a line. And Scotch tape is going to be a really good tape to use for this because it's going to come right off. So you don't want something that's too sticky. And then you're going to roll that money up and place it inside the box. And there is going to be room to put treats or something else inside if you want. But just make sure that the money is on top so that it doesn't get stuck when being pulled. And then you're going to need to thread the money through the lid where that money pull hole is before you attach the happy birthday to it. And you're just going to attach that using a piece of tape. And then you're going to add that lid on. And then you're going to kind of let that happy birthday fall into the slit to stand straight up. And if it's not standing upright, try untaping it and flipping it around the other way to the money, because the way the money is rolled will kind of influence how it stands. So just try both ways and see which way you think works better for you. And then that's all there is to it. So you're just going to pull up on that happy birthday for a really fun surprise. So I hope that you guys really enjoy this box. And if there's any other boxes that you guys would let me see, let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do. And if you're watching, make sure to say something in the comments and like this video. This is a great way to help creators grow so that we can continue to make content to share with you guys. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comments as well so that I can answer them there. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.